Hello tanks and tankettes, welcome to a bit of live gameplay, and today I thought I would play my newest heavy tank acquisition, the not so diminutive Type 91 Heavy at tier 3. It's the first tier 3 heavy tank. Look everybody, it thinks it's a heavy tank. It's not really. I've actually, I free XP'd the tier 2. I wasn't going to be so hardcore as to buy the Otsu and then grind out the trifling amount of XP needed for the tier 2, but from tier 2 upwards I have basically been retraining for free the crew and just playing through the line, basically just at least getting a slight feel for what the machines are like. And I'm actually very nearly at having the tier 4 unlocked. So as for the tier 2 and the tier 3, if I was going to compare them to anything, and that's the service record, that's not what I wanted to look at, it would be these tanks here, the British medium line leading up to the Matilda. And these three are basically sheds with good guns. And good guns is nice, but the fact that they are massive unarmoured sheds is a bit of a downside, because everything can and will hurt you. And you're also not very fast because you're a shed. And the tier 2 and the tier 3 are basically exactly the same. Decent guns for their tiers, but they're big sheds with no armour. So we're going to have a battle with this. I think I need... yeah. Even if I don't get a win, I'll probably just free XP up to the Type 95. So we'll try and cover both tier 3 and tier 4 with this battle. I'm also running without mods, because of course 9.10 has hit the EU server. And Locastan, as you may or may not have heard already, has announced that he isn't doing mods anymore. He's not keeping his mods updated. Other people might pick those up and then run with them, but he has basically announced he's retiring from that. He doesn't really play World of Tanks anymore, so I've gone and said a thank you on the EU forum thread for all his hard work over the years, because he's been doing it an awful long time, and if you want to as well, I'm sure he'd appreciate it. So in the meantime, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with mods. I mean, obviously the main one I use for damage and the carousel and that does other things is Kodos, which isn't updated yet. But I might just install XVM and have a poke around with it, and I don't know. Let's see what else I can find. The one thing I'm going to miss from Locastan's most of all is the session stats mods, although I believe there's another one out there. But otherwise, yeah, just vanilla minimap. It's just, I don't know, here I am playing without mods like a goddamn peasant. But it's not so bad. I mean, the fact that the vanilla minimap now has a lot more information on it than it used to is awfully nice indeed. And it's certainly a lot more livable with this game with no mods than it was previously. The other mod pack I might try out actually is Aslane's, because I've been using Aslane's mods for World of Warships, mostly just for the minimap. Actually, I say his mods, it's his mod installer. I don't know if they are all his mods per se. So we're going to see, by the way, how I do in this battle with 50% crew. I mean, I wasn't going to spend the credits on training up a crew for a tank I was going to have for 3 or 4 battles. And this one has been like 6 or 7 battles, but yeah, with a premium count, the lower tiers do not take long at all. And even with a 50% crew or 57% or whatever they're up to now, it's still actually not totally terrible. I mean, it wouldn't necessarily be much better with 100% crew. You'd aim a bit faster, you'd load a bit faster and all that kind of thing. But for a low tier tank with, you know, the kind of armour that a plywood shed would bring to the game, in effective terms anyway, yeah, there's not much point wasting that amount of credits on it. I hear tell the tier 4's not bad though, and the tier 5 and up look like somewhat fun machines, you know, relevant to my interests, slightly, shall we say. There's actually, oh, Lego Tank, I recognise that name, PTS, obviously quite a well-known clan, but I'm sure I recognise the name Lego Tank from somewhere. Anyway, yeah, it's funny the amount of people with good clan tanks you're seeing at low tiers at the moment as they're all grinding up through these new Japanese tanks. So, yes. There is also, this, oh god, Yeah, you can't angle that way. You have to angle this way if you actually want to point the gun down, because the offset mini turret on the front actually gives you positive gun depression, practically. Is it that bad? Yes, it is actually that bad. It's like +1 gun depression. It's pretty terrible. So yeah, if you haven't seen my WoW's video from yesterday, basically the announcement I made in that, which I'm probably going to make in the next couple of videos as well, is that I am getting fibre. Now, before everyone gets super excited about, oh my god, he's going to start streaming. Well, probably not, no. When I say fibre, it is actually about equivalent to what would be a cable connection for most people, I suspect. But it's still about 5 or 6 times better than my current ADSL connection, so that's nice. So it's going to be like 20 down and 2 up, and it's fibre to the cabinet rather than fibre to the premises, which is not available in this area. But it's a big step up in actually the kind of connection that you can get where I live. So it's, I mean, my current is, I think, like 5 down, 0.3 up, and it's going to be, let's see, around 20 down and 2 up. So my videos will all be 1080p from that point forward, which is about 2 weeks time from now, if it all goes according to plan. But I don't think a 2 up connection is anything like good enough to actually stream. We're also going to win this by cap, and that's absolutely fine. And also, oh, there's Mega Sander in Cirque 2. Yeah, one of my very own Circlings. I'll just actually say hello. Wow. In fact, I'm going to say hi to YouTube. Let's see if he goes all kind of, you know, sometimes people they go squee. And Lego Tank. Yeah, I'm sure Lego Tank's a regular viewer. And yeah, we'll say hello. Yeah, I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is. Anyway, we're gonna win this on cap. That's absolutely fine. I don't fancy. Yeah, no, I don't fancy taking on those. Somehow, I'm still alive. I'm the only. Actually, no, the 2G's still alive as well. But yeah, no, I'll take it. It's a win. It might even be enough XP. So yeah, just ignore that propaganda in the chat at the end there. I just caught that out the corner of my eye. At least I think if it said what I think it said, yeah, just ignore that. Woo! I wasn't dead last. Wow, look at that. That was a tier 3 to tier 5 battle. The fact that we came out of that with a win is enough for me. This is why I mean the tier 1 and 2 matchmaking. That I've said this before, other people have said this, that should be extended to at least tier 4, getting to tier 5 battles with machines like this. And a lot of people, if they're new to the game, they will have 50% crews, because they're not going to have the credits to actually get a full 100%, you know, not even 100% crew, 90%, 75% crew, that's the one you pay credits for. 100% is obviously gold. You're not going to spend gold on tier 3 tank unless you're seriously hardcore. Anyway, let's buy the Type 95. Let's sell this bad boy, the Type 91. I mean, it's got an okay gun, and that's all you can say about it. I mean, I don't think any of these low tiers, there's any compelling reason to actually keep any of them. None of them have a particularly unique flavour. I think tier 5 is where it starts to get interesting. So we'll I'm so used to be able to like right click and say put in best crew, but that's an XVM feature. Also, apparently the Type 91 had, well, this has 2 radio operators as well. I didn't even notice that, but whatever. Okay, so we're going to go retrain crew, and I am going to be so hardcore, and 50%, yeah, I don't care. Right, actually, before we buy ammo, let's see what guns I can mount. I get 110 damage, 70 pen. Yeah, it's all right, but that's actually worse than the AMX 40, so it's not great. It's definitely not great. 425 meters radio range. Again, not great, and that's an extra 40 horsepower, which probably will make a reasonably big difference. I've been spoonerizing a lot more recently. I don't know why. In fact, let's just go nuts and spend free XP on ammo. I know, right? It's just free XP on. I'm living the life here. It's just I'm living the dream. That's what it is. So, yeah, oh, also it gets heat shells, much like the duck. What are the heat shells got in terms of pen? 100! It actually has better heat shells than the duck. Because, yeah, the duck used to have, what was it, 98 pen? And then in the Great Heat Nerf, they actually nerfed that down to 90. Because reasons. There was absolutely no reason to do it, but they did it anyway because, I don't know, Wargaming is just hardcore like that. Also, I'm hardcore like that because I just spent 60 gold on... Whoopsie! Didn't mean to do that. Didn't mean to do that. Okay, anyway, yeah, I'm not spending credits on putting stuff on this. I don't even have the credits to spend really at the moment. Yes, I actually rebought the... where are we? Oh, I'm so used to... Like, I got used to having the carousel after not using the carousel for ages, and then now I've gone back to not having the carousel. So much scrolling. Yeah, I rebought the Tiger P, and the Tiger P, I actually, way back when I was first playing up the German heavy line, I bought that before I bought the regular Tiger, but that was before the Tiger had its buffs, back when it was just a big square tinderbox. And the Tiger P actually had an advantage over the Tiger in that frontal hits to the lower front plate, or just anywhere in the front, wouldn't immediately set you on fire. At least that's what it felt like. But of course that isn't the case anymore. The Tiger P wasn't buffed at the same time that the Tiger was, and so now is a little bit sadder by comparison. So anyway, very first battle in the Type 95 Heavy. I've got the top gun. I did buy the top engine, top tracks, everything. So we're all fully pimped out. What can possibly go wrong with my awesome 50% crew? Yeah. This can only go well. In before Tier 6 matchmaking. Because I have a feeling it's going to be one of those videos. I'm playing it at a weekend as well, so in theory there ought to be plenty of low tiers around, but... we'll see. It's absolutely luck of the draw. Oh, we're top tier though. Okay, never mind. The 70 pen isn't going to matter so much. The tier 2 actually was actually... that was a lot of actuallys. I do say that a lot sometimes, don't I? The derp gun that gets is fun. And... I was, the very first battle I played, I shot a lot of AP, and then I was looking at the gun stats and realised that the HE only has one less pen than the AP, and therefore, with the tier 2, you should only really ever be shooting HE shells, because it actually gets a bit hilarious when you can have a T-18 sitting in front of you going, haha, I'm going to murder you, and then you shoot him for 100 with your HE. But the tier 3, I think the stock gun was a derp as well. But the top gun was, you know, it's pretty good for a tier 3. And then this actually feels like I mean, it's more damage, but 70 pen, yeah. The MX-40 has 74. And although this has the better heat, it's still only 10 better. And this is actually as slow as the duck. In fact, the duck at least has the potential to go faster. Yeah, I don't think there's any real reason I would want to keep this either. And of course, the duck has got armour. And let's see what the gun depression's like over the front turret. You actually do get gun depression over the front turret. Well, that is a step up from the other one where it was gun elevation over the front turret, practically. So, yeah. Also, the BT-7RT, I do need to do a video on that at some point. That was a very fun little machine. Wargaming, they either, for like the anniversary tanks and whatever, they either knock it out the park and give you some really great fun little machine to play with, or it's really terrible, like the Mark 6 light tank. Right, so I've got to be careful because there's actually a Lux up there. And this is incredible matchmaking for a Lux. He's got to be just happy in his special place right now. And there he is. Yeah, this is the kind of matchmaking where when you're in a Lux or a Stewart, anything like that, it's just like looking into the face of God. Although I have to say that was the experience for me, generally, seeing screenshots of especially the high tier Japanese. Although maybe it would be more appropriate to say it was like looking into the face of Tog. Yeah, I went there. So, MX-40 though, he's not angling very well. I do know where to pen him. They also have artillery, I don't have armour, and this may all go, horribly wrong. Oh, that Lux is being cheeky, however. But, Oh, attack rate 5. It does get a bunch of armor. Not armor. Something. A bunch of something. Now I don't know what I was trying to say there. Like the words came out my mouth and then immediately I was like, what am I actually even trying to, you know, what words are trying to escape here? And it proved to be a mystery to all concerned. Yeah, I never quite know how these are going to go when I do these live, and apparently this is... I'm actually recording this in a morning, you know? Sometimes when I do these and it's late at night and the brain just goes a bit flippity-derp, you know, more than usual, I at least will have the excuse of being able to say, and sometimes do say, well, it's late. But that's not the case this time. It is in fact the case that it is not late at all, and my brain is still going flippity-derp, so... Yes. Also, don't get fooled by the silhouette. You think, oh, he's not looking your way. He's not looking your way. The gun isn't pointing your way. Actually, no, that's the front. The front turret. That's not the actual silhouette at all. It's a twap, as Admiral Akbar would say. Anyway, DW2. Feel sorry for that guy, but on the other hand, 50 side armor when you're top tier. It's enough to be a little bit troll. I shouldn't be scrolling in and out like that. That's fairly bad. Bad habit. Don't do that, kids. Do as I say, not as I do. And if you do as I do, well, you're probably a bit boned. Also, I'm a bit boned, I think. There we go. Right, he's aiming forever at me. Okay. Right. I can kill that guy if I can hit him, but I'm not going to hit him. Oh, well, he didn't have a 50% crew. Chet and hacks. How dare he. We might win this, but probably not. They've got a Grant that's just Kimp Bush back at their base. Anyway, yeah, it's slow, it's not very well armoured. The damage on the gun doesn't seem bad, but less pen than an AMX-40 for a machine that's going to see tier 6s. No. Oh, also, I think the FCM just straight up murdered them. Yeah, well, that's what FCMs do. So there we go. That is the tier 4 and the tier 3. None of them are particularly machines I think I want to keep. Sometimes I get excited by the low tiers, maybe inappropriately so, but in this case it's just not happening. So although I still have, for instance, a whole bunch of the French low tier tanks in my garage, and not really that many of other nations, in fact. A bunch of the Brits as well, actually. The Cruiser 2 with the derp is always a fun machine to play, and you all know my fondness for the Cruiser Mark IV, I expect. But yeah, it's not going to be the case with any of these new Japanese tanks. But tier 5 won't be that far away. I mean, Circle's up to tier 8 already, but he's been just massively power grinding his way through, and I generally can't do that with tanks, but I'll get there eventually. And the top tiers look just like my my cup of tea are just all over. If the cup was like made of latex and there was whips involved or something. I don't know. This went to a weird place, so let's wrap this up. So if you liked this video, you can hit the like button. You can leave any comments below. Oh god, I don't even know what you're going to say. But, you know, you can do it anyway. I look forward with trepidation. And, of course, as always, stay tuned for more.